Welcome back to E39 Source. Ryan Schultz here with the 2000 E39 M5. It is February the 19th, 2016. The snow's starting to melt. We can feel spring in the air. It's 50 degrees today. And more snow next week. It's going to be great. In the meantime, we've got the car uncovered. It's sitting in here looking super blue against the white walls, and I'm used to looking at titanium cars, so Silverstone really pops. And we're going to do a little DIY today on installing, hardwiring a BlackVue dash cam. Both front and rear. We're going to do a little bit of a parts, show you all the parts required for this job in a minute. I've got good friend Joe here, B8S4. He's wiring master Joe, so you may hear him in the background from time to time. But you know, these cars aren't worth, quite frankly, anything anymore. And for anybody that's invested as much mental capacity and financial resources as I have, it's just kind of a bit of a way to protect your investment by having a dash cam, say, mounted up here on the windshield and in the back, just to have your back if somebody were to, say, rear end you and disappear. Now you can lock them up. So it's going to be fun. Parts wise, I've kind of got things laid out over here. This is the BlackVue DR650GW 2 channel, so that just means you've got a front, I believe it's 1080p at 30 frames and a rear 720p at 30 frames per second camera. So it came with, obviously, the camera, power cables, wires, instructions. We'll get through that in a moment. We got this PowerMagic Pro. I'm not sure how that fits into things yet, but we're going to learn. And it also came with a little pry tool if we need to do any sort of work inside the car. From Amazon, for really relatively cheap, I was able to pick up a SanDisk Ultra 64 gig micro SD card. That's where the memory is going to go. Or that's where the video is going to go when it's saved. And then from AutoZone, for less than $20 here, we've got the whatever size this is, this standard size. Yeah. Get the standard sized add a circuit, which I don't know if there's a part number on here, maybe. Zoom in on that. You can get them on Amazon. They're on Amazon, AutoZone, Walmart might even have them. And then we got a variety of fuses because I think we need a 5 amp fuse for this. So there's the parts we're starting with and the job we're doing, and we'll let you know the first step here in a moment. So we open up the BlackVue and we can see the front camera that's going to go on the front windshield is a lot bigger than the one that's going to be in the back. We'll give you some better walk around idea in a minute when it's in the car. We've got some connectivity on the side. It'll stick to the windshield with adhesion. Then the one in the back is actually really small, and it's just going to have one cable that'll run to the front, probably through the headliner, or we'll figure out how that's going to work. Then we get into the accessories. As I mentioned before, it's all just going to be power cables and documentation. So when you open up the PowerMagic Pro, you get a little bit of cool tech like this. We've got this little module. We're actually not going to be using the module. We're going to wire this directly into the fuse box, hence the fuse hardware that I showed you a moment ago. So we're not going to be using the box itself. It comes with this fairly large wiring loom here, and we're going to take this end like this that comes into the connector, and we're not going to use it. We're only going to use the part of the connector that starts off as another power outlet, like you would plug in a cigarette lighter to. Then it's got your ground and positive. Follow that up to the white connector. We're actually going to just remove the pins or snip the wires out right here.
And the reason that we're doing that is because we don't want the car to run, or we don't want the dash cam to run when the car's off.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so we're just going to take those pins, and then those two red and black wires coming from the power outlet are going to go directly into the ADA circuit. So with the ADA circuit here, we've just taken the red wire that we pulled out of that white connector, we've stripped the end of it, fed it into the terminal connector that's on the end of the ADA circuit, use a pair of crimps, or hell, needle nose would work, smash it down, and then we like to go around with a nice layer of electrical tape just to keep things vapor safe, whatever, nice and tight. So now that is done to factory quality. In the car, we have taken the front camera. It's got that red adhesion tape on the back. Peel that off, line it up where you'd like to have it, wherever that may be. Hold it in place, clean your glass first, and press it up where you'd like to have it. From there, take one of the cables that came with the BlackVue. This is the cable that has the power connector on the end of it. Stick the other end into the BlackVue. There's only one place that it fits. as you can see right there. Sorry for the poor lighting. And we're actually going to kind of start with the camera. We're going to make sure our wiring works first. Once our wiring works, then we're going to start from the camera, just push it up in the headliner, down through the A-pillar. We might come over here to this trim, and our goal is just to get it down into the glove box, where we're going to be dropping our fuse panel, which lives up in the top of the glove box. You just turn these white clips 90 degrees, it will drop down. I think we're using fuse 21, which is a 5 amp, and we're going to be plugging our ATA circuit into that and then hiding the rest of the wiring somewhere. Okay, we've had to get a little jiggy with it here, trying a couple different wiring techniques, but the ATA circuit seems to be working. We've just added the original fuse that was in 21 onto the ATA circuit. I'm sorry, I can't really see the screen right now, but it is installed in fuse slot 21. You can see it sticking out there, and it does shut. There's going to be plenty of room to just shove it up on top of the fuse box and we'll be fine. The red wires are positive, which feeds to the power port. Then we've plugged in the power outlet that goes to the BlackVue power connector. The black wire out of the power outlet is obviously the ground, so we've just taken that, we stripped it, and in the headliner here, if you've seen my DIY on adding the Valentine 1 hardwire kit, we've just dropped out the front center console light, which sits, I don't even know, it sits this way. You just need kind of a pry tool to get in there and pop it down and out like this. Then you can reach up top and press on this panel that has your home link and your sunroof control. Pop that down. And then when you get in there, you see your sunroof motor and you see a Torx, it's a T20 right here. Unscrew that a little bit, and that's just what I'm using for grounding. I couldn't easily find anything down here that works for grounding. Do they exist? I guarantee they do somewhere. You can probably find a better ground than I did. I'm just going to run it up the A-pillar, through the headliner, and add it to the ground that my Valentine 1 hardwire kit uses. It's fine. There should be enough wire to do that. Obviously we plug that in the BlackVue, and if I were to cycle to position 2 right now, we'll see the light comes on the BlackVue. There's no SD card in it right now, so I don't think it's able to record very much, but it is functioning. And you heard the Valentine fire up as well, so that's working. At this point, I'm going to clean things up. We're going to run this wire just through the headliner, down the A-pillar. We need to remove the A-pillar. Right up top here, there's a little black cover. It says HPS, that stands for Head Protection System, and just pop that off with your fingernail. Don't lose this. The black ones, they don't exist, they don't have a part number. If you've got gray or tan, go ahead, lose it, break it, put it on fire, doesn't matter. Those have part numbers, you can buy them. When you get that out of the way, you're gonna find another T20, maybe a T25. I used a T20 and it came out fine. Fairly long screw. You're gonna remove the screw. Be careful with your A-pillar. These things are expensive if you've got the Alcantara ones, and it will slide out of the way and then pull like that. And there is the A-pillar. If you can take that, please.
Thank you.
And so now we're going to be able to run our wires. I definitely recommend going behind the airbag for safety, down like that. You can see your sunroof channel as well for drainage. Alright guys, I'm going to give you an overview of the power setup here. It looks like we have the front camera just about done and working. So we use the ATA circuit to tap a fuse in the glove box. And if I open that and drop it down, we're in number 21. We added a 5 amp in there in addition to the one that was originally in there. It's installed that way. It still fits and everything's really well protected and hidden. So then the wire runs just kind of up on top of the glove box. Then our red ground goes to that extra cigarette lighter carport. And all of that is actually zip tied and just wedged right there. And it fits very snugly. It's not in the way. It does not interfere with the glove box closing. There's a bit of a pocket on the inside of this triangular piece of lower dashboard material here where all of that fits. So just wrap it up, zip tie it, and put it all in there. With the excess wire, that is. So the red positive wire from the ATA fuse only goes from here to here. That's where the power outlet is. The ground wire, which is the black one coming out of the power outlet, goes underneath or behind this weather stripping here. Then we're going up the A-pillar. You can kind of see it right here. When I put that trim back on, it'll all be out of sight. We went on the back side of the airbag. We went on the back side of the sunroof drainage, black rubber pipe tubing. Then we went on the inside of the headliner, all the way over here, and we actually put a spade connector on the end of it, and right there I added it to that sunroof motor Torx bolt ground that I'm using for the Valentine. So the blue one is the Valentine ground, and this one right here is the ground for the BlackVue. So now this is done. I can reinstall this trim, pop the light back in, and put the A-pillar back on. The other wire is this one, the power wire for the front camera. We started at the camera, we just plugged it in, we put it up here on top of the headliner, behind the sunroof channel, behind the airbag, down here, and then that whole power plug just plugs right into the power outlet that we added from the fuse box, which again is shoved on the other side of this trim. So it's really actually well done, and it's clean, and once I put the A-pillar back on there and put the headliner back together here, you're not going to be able to tell. That'll conclude the first part of this DIY. The next thing we need to do is run another power line from the front camera. Actually, we might leave the A-pillar off for that. Back through the headliner here, or however we do it, and to the rear windshield. Alright, this part's gone a lot faster. So we plugged in the second cable, which is going to go from the front camera to the rear. Right there. Plugs in right next to the power supply. Same thing, up in the headliner, behind the airbag, behind the sunroof drainage channel thing there. Then we're just going to wedge it up in this weather stripping, which it's not wanting to focus on. Got a bad black point here, but it's there. You guys know these cars, trust me, it's that little felt weather stripping. Up in there, in between the headliner and the B-pillar. If you can get it on top of the headliner a little bit. Headliner goes like an inch past the B-pillar though. So wedge it up in there. As you can tell, you cannot tell whatsoever that it's in there. At all. It's really well done. So then we keep going. We're going to do the same thing here. Now I am going to pull out the C-pillar here. I've already put the camera right in the center. I debated putting it over here, but then it's at kind of an angle and it would be shooting off to the left. So I'm just going to put it in the middle. These things have, what, about almost 180 degrees? Yeah, so it's a good camera. So it's mounted in the middle. So the C-pillar comes down fairly easily. I'm going to kill these interior lights so they don't get too hot. I'm going to use a non-marring pry tool. This one's included in the kit. And we're just going to pop this C-pillar out. I think it's done here from the front. If we just get something under there and pry, it comes out like this. There's a power cable right there, and you just pull. There is the C-pillar light. And then the rest of this, depending on what model year your car is, this is a 2000, produced February of 2000, and I'm pretty sure it just pulls. There's these plastic clips that kind of hold it in. There's one on the left, there's one on the right, and it just pulls out right like that. Some of them may or may not have had Torx screws, maybe the 01 Pluses, I don't really remember, but they fit right here and right there. So be careful with your wiring now. I don't know that you need to fully remove it. I probably will because it's easy at this point. You just pull it towards the front of the car and it should pull right out. Okay, so there's actually no need to remove the rear C-pillar at all. Just with popping the light out and pulling it down, you're able to finish running the wire up here in the weather stripping. Then you get an extra couple feet here. I just kind of coiled it up, put a zip tie on it, and there's enough room right behind the C-pillar here in the center to put that extra cabling. Then the headliner here is installed in the back in a way that is cupped like this. And the way it's cupped does not permit for us to get the wire up on top of the actual headliner, but it does permit us to just push it up in there. You can barely feel it, you can't see it from the inside, and you can't see it from the outside either. So it's a sustainable solution. Then it just plugs in right there. Looks like it's going to stay nice and tight. Inside the car, honestly, it is a really clean job. I need to get that A-pillar back on in the front. You cannot tell at all that there's wires up in the headliner behind the C-pillar all the way to the rear camera. Any of that. Now we're going to walk you through a little bit of the setup and configuration process. So here's the finished product in the rear from the outside, and at least in this lighting you can't even tell it's there. I'm sure in bright sunlight you might be able to look out here and be able to see something, but you certainly really can't. And I like the center position. So the installation's all done. It's really clean. As I said, I put the A-pillar back in. glove box is put back together. You cannot tell at all from sitting here that this DIY has been done. That's kind of the view from where a passenger's eyes would be, approximately. So the SD card that it uses, depending on which one you buy, it'll come with an SD card that is either, I think, 16, 32, or 64 gig capacities. And I just bought the one with the 16 gig because I was able to pick up from Amazon for a lot cheaper than what it would cost to just do it through BlackVue, or through the name of the company. A 64 gig card from Amazon. I don't remember what the number was, but to get it out, you've got to unplug both of your cables like that. And then there's this little cover that there's a kind of a handle on it. You just squeeze that and pop it out. Then the SD card fits in there. And something to note, it needs to be formatted in FAT. This one came in EX FAT. It comes with the adapter. Plug it in your PC or Mac and format the card in just straight FAT, MS-DOS FAT, not FAT32, not EX FAT. Then you can put it in there, plug your connections back in, and we're going to give this thing a shot. So Joe, if you'll turn my key to position 2, you hear the Valentine fire up over there. We get a blue light. The blue light indicates GPS. It's using your GPS location. We get some beautiful jazz in the background. And, and it'll talk to us here in a moment, letting us know what's going on.
BlackVue for your safe driving.
Okay.
Starting normal recording.
Starting normal recording. Cool beans. So at this point, you really don't have to do anything special. It's going to save the front and the rear files onto the SD card. It's 64 gigabytes, so it's huge, even in 1080p 30 and 720p 30 in the rear configuration. They have an app in the App Store. If you've got an iPhone, you can download it for free and open it up, and it looks somewhat like this. I'll get focusing a little better here. To connect to the BlackVue, we need to turn on Wi-Fi. There's one button on the right side.
Wi-Fi on.
Wi-Fi on. Now, it seems that we have to wait about 20 seconds and then press it again. And then over here, we're going to see a little Wi-Fi logo that will appear. And that will then allow us to come over here to your Android or iPhone or whatever, go into your Wi-Fi and connect to the BlackVue itself. It's been a few seconds. We'll press the button again. We'll press the button a little longer. We haven't yet figured out what the magic word is for this thing yet. Okay, so now we have the flashing Wi-Fi light. And as iPhones like to do, we have to turn off Wi-Fi and then turn it back on. I used to want to be an IT administrator. Okay, there we go. DR650GW F07B37. Sounds like an aircraft. So we connect to that. At this point, we can cycle back over to the application, and I'm not going to give you a full demo of the application because I'm unqualified. I don't know anything about this application yet. But we have our settings from here. So if we click on BlackVue Wi-Fi, it'll say connecting. Here's all the clips that it's already recorded. If we punch live, and we go this way, there's the live view of the front camera. You can see the hood. And then if we cycle over to the back camera, I have it situated in a way that you can actually see the rear spoiler on the car and a little bit of the rear deck. So, very cool. Seems to work quite well at this point. And then there's one nice, neat little feature here. So as it's recording, as indicated by the flashing orange light, it's recording audio as well as video. Now, if you're about to have a dirty conversation or something in the car, you can just bring your finger up here.
Audio recording disabled.
And now it's no longer recording audio. You complete your conversation, you pick up a bus full of nuns, you do it again.
Audio recording.
And audio recording is back on. So that's pretty cool. The first couple times I was doing it, I didn't even have to touch the sensor. I'm not sure if you do. It seems to work better if you just kind of caress the sensor a little bit. So that is the DIY on that. When you are done driving, you turn your key off. It'll talk to us.
The BlackVue is now shutting down.
And it's shutting down, saving those files to the SD card. Another feature of this application, I believe, is it's got a motion sensor inside. If your car's hit in a parking lot, it's going to start recording. And the files that it records during that instance are actually recorded to internal memory. Is that right, Joe?
But that's only if you use the Power Magic Pro and you've wired it where it's always on.
Ah, yes, if you've wired it where it's always on. So I have not done that, and it'll only be recording when it's on. So if you've used the Power Magic, then it will record to that internal memory and not delete itself unless you manually do so.
But if you did get hit while you were driving, it would store that into the hard drive memory.
Okay. Well, thank you, Joe, for your help on this. This has been a fun DIY. We're probably in about 2 hours.
Yep.
When we do this again on Kenan's M5 fairly soon, I think, it'll probably be like an hour or less. We really know what we're doing now, or at least like to think. So not bad at all. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them below. Send me an email, ryan@e39source.com. The next couple weeks, this car will be coming out of the garage, hopefully, once the snow melts and the salt gets washed away a little bit, into Lyric Motorsport, where it will have its new engine, new driveline, differential. Oh my God, anything that I haven't replaced yet is about to be replaced. It's gonna be a hoot. So I look forward to that. We'll definitely have a lot more content come spring and some better weather. But we're gonna cover this, this thing up, and maybe I'll do a little demo of the cameras later when I'm driving the car full time. So thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later. Bye.